Flight 58. So, how did it come to be that an aircraft that had carried Britain's nuclear deterrent found itself doing something so totally different as dropping conventional bombs on an airfield in the South Atlantic? Well, they'd handed the nuclear deterrent over to the Royal Navy, and in fact, almost at the end of Vulcan's operational career in 1982 came the Falkland Islands War, and it was suddenly decided that a Vulcan could actually get there and back from Ascension Island. Now this was to be the longest bombing raid in history. It's as far as from here to Bali non-stop. And in order to do it, the Vulcan had to do 18 air-to-air refuelings. And the aircraft that did that was Vulcan XM607, which is now at our air Waddington as a static display. Here she comes from straight in front of us. That is the famous Vulcan howl that's caused by the air in the intakes, the particular shape of the intakes, and it only occurs at certain power settings. Actually, she wasn't on full power there, she was only on 90% power because we're protecting the engine life. If you're keeping an eye on her, you'll see she's got the wheels down, and she's going to descend back towards us, and we'll see her fly by with the wheels down. Now, worry not, she's not planning to land at the moment. Now, the crew today, the man actually flying, is Bill Perrins. He's an ex-Royal Air Force Tornado fighter pilot. Now flies for Virgin with, I think, jumbo jets, 747-400s. And sitting in the other seat is Martin Withers, who's the chief pilot of the Vulcan to the Sky Trust. He's the man who flew the Vulcan all the way down to the Falkland Islands, and he got a distinguished flying cross for that. So here she is, with wheels down. And the third man on board, as I said, they don't have the two navigators, the navigator plotter and the navigator radar anymore, but they do have the air electronics officer. It's very important. They used to call this the electric bomber. A lot of electrical systems on board, and the AEO, among other things, manages those. And that's Phil Davis. He's the guy who's been texting me and telling me what's going on with the aircraft all day. And we have had one or two texts between us, I have to say, and between us and one or two other people as well. Now, next time she comes around, I'm looking to see if she's got her bomb doors open. This is only the second time I've seen her this year, and I can't see her. Yes, the bomb doors are open. That's the size of the bomb bay that took those 21,000 pounds of bombs. She'll fly around in a circle, and as she comes back in front of us, you'll see the bomb bay doors closing. Interestingly, if you were to go and see her at her home at Doncaster, at the snappily named Robin Hood Airport, Doncaster, Sheffield, actually call it Finningley because it used to be our AF Finningley, and you look inside that bomb bay, you'll see the names of thousands of people who paid money to have their names put inside the bomb bay. Unfortunately, you can't apply to do that anymore because the bomb bay is full. So this is an aeroplane then that's really held in trust for the nation. And it really has cost an absolute fortune to do that. So we're continually asking for money. People keep saying, oh, they're always asking for money. But, you know, £38,500 a week doesn't come from, you know, just out of the sky. It goes back into the sky, in fact. But we just need everybody's help all the time to keep her flying until the end of next year. I'll tell you more about that in a moment. As she comes back in front of us, Phil Davis, the ADA will close the bomb bay. There's one other person that I really must mention, and that's Kevin Taft-Stone. He's the crew chief and the chief engineer. He's been working his socks off overnight, him and his team, to get the undercarriage problem fixed. They got it fixed in good time. The aircraft should have been able to get down here, but for some reason they couldn't get the aircraft refueled, which is why we've all been kept waiting. But well done to Taft-Stone, the crew chief. He says 558 is my baby. She really is. Now I think we're going to see a topside pass and then a final pass after she turned round at the left-hand end. Do you think she looks a bit reminiscent of Concorde? If you stretch that original drawing that I was talking about in 1946 by 3/4, multiply it by 1 3/4 in length, you get recognisably Concorde. Because of course she was a predecessor, and of course Concorde also had Bristol Olympus engines, albeit fairly rather well developed engines.
In museum they put Me-21 in front of this.
So if ever you're up near Doncaster, do go and pay her a visit. They have all sorts of amazing facilities. She lives in a sumptuous hangar these days, and she takes visiting parties. And you can have booked that place for dinners and all sorts of things. It's really good. You can find all of that stuff out at the Vulcans of the Sky Club, and their stand is by the arena, next to the beer tent by the arena. So please do go and pay them a visit, because they'd be really happy to see you. Of course, she also depends on a huge amount of help from industry. Sir Jack Hayward making outstanding contributions, Eddie Forrester of Aerobytes, huge support from the CAA, and many other companies give amazing help. AD Holdings, Airbus, BAE Systems, Beagle Technology, Cranfield, Goodrich, Kearsley Airways, Meggitt, Messier Doughty, Rolls-Royce and Serco. Say goodbye to the Vulcan, ladies and gentlemen. Flying Display Director has asked me to ask you, would you like her to come back next year? Yeah. Please put your hands in the air if you'd like to see Vulcan next year.
Yes, of course.
He thinks he will. There we go. Well now, let me just say, at the end of this lovely display, you could, if you don't want to go to the stand, the club stand, you could make a donation